Hi, welcome back and thanks for tuning in. My name's Mary Calhoun Brown. I'm the award-winning author of There Are No Words, and I'm also an advocate for children and adults on the autism spectrum. I answer your questions about autism, Asperger syndrome, and a variety of other subjects, whatever anyone wants to ask. So if you have a question, you can send it to www.marycalhounbrown.com. Go to the context tab and you can leave your question right there. So without any further introductions, I'm going to start with the question. If I can get it up. One moment. There we go. And here's our question for today. I often get questions from people whose children don't have a diagnosis. And one of the questions that I received is, what does autism look like? Well, just as every person's different and has their own set of strengths and weaknesses, every person on the autism spectrum is different too. Too often we think autism and we have a preconceived notion of what that looks like. I attended a conference not long ago, and a very bright educator named Paula Kluth gave a moving presentation about how most autistic behavior is nothing more than human behavior. The difference for those on the autism spectrum is they don't always have the communication skills to make their odd behavior socially acceptable. How many people do you know who have a quirk? I have a friend who lifts her sheets up before she gets into bed to make sure there are no bugs in her bed. Another friend of mine feels for her keys at least 3 times before leaving the house. Another lady I know admits to having a preference for which way the toilet paper hangs off the roll. Another friend of mine faces her canned goods in a certain way, and still another person hangs her clothes by color. These are friends of mine that are not on the autism spectrum. They just like having things a certain way. What would happen if I snuck into my friend's closet and mixed up her clothes one day as a practical joke? She would be ticked, no doubt. Maybe she would laugh it off, but reorganizing her closet would hit the top of her to-do list, and she would curse me under her breath the whole time she properly hung her clothes. So what happens when you're autistic? Let's say you know that the popular show The Office comes on at a certain time, and you really enjoy that Steve Carell. He's just so funny. Anyway, every week at the same time, you sit down with a snack and watch The Office until one day your aunt comes by for a visit and asks if she can watch Dancing with the Stars. Well, clearly, Dancing with the Stars is not The Office. And if you don't see The Office, you'll miss the Office Olympics, which you've been looking forward to all week. As you sit there worrying about what to do, your aunt clicks over to Dancing with the Stars. You think it's the stupidest show ever made, although not everybody does, I understand. No hate mail, please. And the longer you sit there watching the intro, the worse it seems to you. Someone lower on the autism spectrum may begin to vocalize or hum. He may rock back and forth and shout the names of the characters from The Office, which will sound pretty disturbing and random from the aunt's perspective. Someone higher on the spectrum may just sneak away to another television and find the episode on the internet. My son would sneak away to another TV. My husband would say, "I just can't watch that," and be done with it. He would regain control of the remote, although I can't imagine that he would have relinquished control in the first place. Good old auntie would have to watch The Office in our house. I guess my point is we all have quirks in our behavior and personality. Tolerance and acceptance of others is the key. When someone looks you in the eye and says your child is autistic, please be aware that autism is just a word, not a sentence. It does not define your child. Praise God that we are all different. I hope that you'll check out my book, There Are No Words. I try to show autism from the inside out, and the main character is autistic and nonverbal. And when she falls into the painting, she can speak for the first time. So it's kind of neat to see what it's like looking at autism from the inside out. I thank you for tuning in today, and I want to remind you that if you have a question for me, you're welcome to go to the context tab at marycalhounbrown.com and ask your question. I'll be happy to answer it on video blog or on my regular blog at http:// blog.marycalhounbrown.com. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.